Now, a little bit ago, I posted a video talking about internet censorship. Well, now we are facing an even bigger free speech crisis than before. Just a few days ago, Tommy Robinson was sentenced prison time for 13 months. His crime? Reporting on grooming gangs. Stories on refugees going into England, setting up pedophilia rings, and raping children. As we all know, Tommy has talked about this for years, and of course people called him a racist. But now we are starting to see all of these stories really come to the surface. We are starting to see the terror and the pedophilia really spring up from this refugee crisis, and the UK government is doing absolutely nothing about it. Not to mention reporting on it was scarce. The video I'm about to show you can see Tommy standing outside the courthouse live streaming, and the police arrest him, all for reporting on terrorists and pedophiles.
Are you going to arrest me?
My colleague is going to explain what's going to happen next, right?
Am I being arrested?
You are being arrested.
I am being arrested.
It wasn't a breach of peace.
I've caused a breach of peace. I'm being arrested.
But the content of what you're streaming...
The content of what I'm streaming, I'm being arrested for breach of the peace.
Tommy was in court for 2 hours when they told him that he would be sent away for 13 months. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to a court case, but a 2-hour-long trial for 13 months in prison is absolutely insane. For the judge to think of 13 months within 2 hours is completely corrupt. Now, whether you like Tommy or not, you can have a completely different political ideology, but to throw a man in jail for 13 months for filming on public streets, on a court case, on a story that the entire world should be aware of, it's not just insanity, it's wrong, and to dictatorship. Now, everyone's telling me, Ashton, Tommy Robinson isn't a reporter. He's an activist. He has no right to be doing what he's doing. That's the difference between the UK and the US. In the US, if you have a cell phone, you are a reporter. From what I've seen, the people are the truest reporters, the most resilient militia, and the most loyal government. Now, I'd like to say that Tommy being arrested is the first sign to a dictatorship. That's completely false. We were warned. We saw this coming. When the mainstream media was biased, when Google censored news articles, when social media accounts were removed, when people were banned from countries. Don't tell me you didn't see this coming, because there have been signs for a dictatorship and free speech for years. And it's not just happening in the UK. It's starting to happen in the US too. People need to pay attention to what's happening in their government. Things like PC culture and quote-unquote hate speech, these are merely tools to control what we can say and what we can do. And the more the government controls us, the more they stay in power. And we the people suffer. Imagine your government doesn't do something you like. Let's say you're a farmer and you grow oranges. The government decides to do a strange tax on produce. And let's say you, the farmer, speak out against it on social media, get your friends involved. But then one day you wake up, all of your social media accounts are gone. There's a policeman at your door, and you're being arrested for treason. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that seems to be what's happening now. Tommy Robinson was speaking out against grooming gangs, people who are actually hurting the UK, people who are raping and murdering children, actually causing a danger to the citizen. And Tommy Robinson, of course, being a citizen of the UK, wanted it stopped. It is time the people start paying attention, because while today may be Tommy, tomorrow could be you. But with that being said, it's not too late. People have been speaking out for so long, and many didn't listen. But for those who are actually starting to listen, you can speak out too. Not only was Tommy put in prison for 13 months for reporting on grooming gangs, but there is a UK reporting ban on Tommy himself. No journalist or UK citizen can talk about Tommy Robinson and report it. Now, the UK reporting ban on Tommy Robinson's arrest not only applies to reporters, but the UK citizens on talking about it. But of course, that didn't play out so well, as because there is a reporting ban on Tommy Robinson is now a worldwide story. And it certainly isn't stopping protests from happening within the UK. But we need to go beyond the UK. We need to make this protest for Tommy Robinson worldwide. Tommy Robinson was reporting serious information the mainstream media wouldn't. Information on terrorism, grooming gangs, but it makes you think. Why was the UK so adamant to not let Tommy Robinson report on this? Because they all tie to the refugee crisis. Makes you think, right? If the refugee crisis is causing so much harm to the UK citizens and the many citizens of Europe, why won't these governments let their own citizens talk about it? Because the reality is, the governments don't care. The government cares about one thing and one thing only: power. And the refugee crisis brings them votes. And not only should we be looking into our government, but our mainstream media and how they work. It's really interesting to me how the American mainstream media refuses to talk about how much good Trump is doing. Women having positions in the White House more than ever, black employment lowest in history, and not to mention the amazing deal with North Korea. Yet the mainstream media here in America takes the same school shooting and drags it on for months. The mainstream media in the UK can't even talk about Tommy Robinson's arrest, let alone their own citizens. Yet Sky News will talk about the royal wedding for weeks. Why are we still relying on these people for news? So I'm calling out to the people of the world. America, Germany, Australia, Japan, anywhere. Talk about Tommy Robinson. Talk about his fight for free speech. Talk about his fight for his country. Because while we all are independent nations, it is our duty to fight for our own independence. But we can do it hand in hand. Go on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you may be, and type #FreeTommy. It is time to show your country, the entire world, that free speech matters. My name is Ashton, love thy country, hate thy government.